One person from Mykolaiv, it was something huge. It was like huge decision.
We're making history right now.
Yeah, I hope so. The place, actually, it doesn't matter. People, what really matters. I hate this word, say it again.
It's a hard one. Authenticity.
When you speak English, you can talk to the world.
Привіт усім! Я Михайло і сьогодні я в Кракові за своєю гостею для цього епізоду Марго. Марго є засновником онлайн-спільноти, вона також ютубер, та я можу додати, що вона неймовірно цікава, з дуже позитивним настроєм. Вона чудово розмовляє англійською, і я дуже радий, що познайомився з Марго в онлайн і нарешті особисто також. Перш ніж ми почнемо, я хочу сказати, що цей епізод буде англійською. Марго чудово розмовляє англійською, тому сьогодні ми будемо говорити моєю рідною мовою, за що я вдячний. Вітаю, Марго.
Hello Michael, and привет, друзі. I also speak Ukrainian and English as well. And you know what? I also feel comfortable when I speak English, even though it's not my native language.
Yeah, you speak like comfortably, like it's your native language, I would say.
I love this language. I really don't care about the mistakes I do, or like if I can't remember words or something. So I'm not trying to be perfect. English for me is just a tool for communication. Mm-hmm. Because when you speak English, you can talk to the world. Like you can talk to everybody, anybody, and that's the most important.
We're here in Krakow. I want to ask about language here, about a lot of things. So first, like, how long have you been living here?
Oh my, it's been, I guess, almost a year. Yeah, so I came here like in October, I guess. Yeah, so almost like a year.
Okay, where were you before? When war started, like where were you and how's your movement?
As usually I was abroad. I like traveling a lot, and usually all the winters I spend in Ukraine. I go to Carpathian Mountains and try snowboarding. I'm so bad at it, but still I'm still trying snowboarding. I'm trying, and and that's the year of 2022, right, was actually exceptional one. So because I decided to spend the winter in Cyprus.
Okay.
And actually that was my first point of the trip. Mm-hmm. And then I was supposed to go to Ukraine, but because of the obvious reasons, I couldn't go. After that, I kind of appeared in France, you know?
just popped up in France?
Just popped up, really. Because the friends of my friends or relatives, I don't know, they just said, hey, come to France. We have place for you to stay just to figure out the things. Mm-hmm. Probably you need to take your parents, because that was actually, I was terrified. I wanted to take my parents from Mykolaiv, so I'm originally from Mykolaiv. Mm-hmm. And and I thought that maybe I'm gonna just have my station in Europe, mm-hmm. just in case if things got worse. So I have to take my parents to Europe, but they didn't want to leave. I guess so many Ukrainians would understand me. Parents, when they have their own house, animals and everything, they can just leave it.
Home is something special, right?
Of course, it is. And for our 4 generations of our parents, it's crucial thing to have, it's their own house, it's their own place, it's their own territory, why they should live it.
Yeah, especially being forced to. So you've been here for about a year,
right.
In Poland, and had you traveled to Poland much before?
Actually, nope. I've never thought about it. Poland wasn't my point to mm-hmm. go to. Mm-hmm. So I was dreaming about France, and mm-hmm. actually I kind of achieved this goal. So I also lived in France for 6 months, I guess. Actually, it's I'm living currently in Krakow. It's actually a nice place. I love this place because it reminds me about Lviv.
Yeah.
And I used to live in Lviv. That was the city of choice.
Okay.
And Krakow just reminds me about hometown a lot. So I just decided to stay here to figure my things out.
The language is quite similar. You're obviously multilingual. And do you learn Polish, or what's language like here?
I knew that question was coming. Because Polish is actually similar to Ukrainian, I can understand mm-hmm. when people speak Polish, but I am kind of I'm a bit ashamed to speak Polish because I'm not fluent in speaking. So I understand, but I'm not fluent in speaking. So for me, it's better to speak English, and I'm actually very happy that people here mostly they speak English, and I really feel comfortable just staying here because of the language. Because well, language it's important. I
Yeah.
mean, it doesn't matter where you are. You can be isolated everywhere if you don't speak a language.
Yeah, right. So English is the most useful, obviously, and I think there's no pressure to learn another language, but it helps to know. So I think that's why there's not like pressure for you to really be forced. Whereas if you lived in like Spain or France, maybe they'd be different.
French people there have really different kind of opinion about English, so they obviously speak French, and they like don't know, like they are not fluent in English, or they just don't want to speak English
Yeah.
because of the story, of history.
Yeah.
So, and that's why they really prefer French. So if you're gonna talk to them in English, they gonna kind of understand you, but answer you in French.
Right. It's
But-
really interesting.
It's interesting, and I guess it's a really great point.
Okay, so language is similar between Polish language and Ukrainian. It's actually quite similar.
Right.
I wanted to ask you if you find the mentality similar.
As I said, like the community reminds me about Lviv. So when I used to live in Mykolaiv. I was born there, and then I've lived in Kiev for a couple of years. I don't know. Unfortunately, I couldn't find a right community for myself living in Kiev. So I just decided to change the place and go to Lviv. And I found Lviv as really place for, I don't know, growing some connections,
Yeah.
finding people. I started to get to make some friends, and I would say that being in Krakow, it kind of the same as like being in Lviv. Of course, there is like difference for sure, but I don't know how to say like what is this difference, Well, let's say that, for example, Polish people, like young generation, they are not, thanks God, they're not experiencing the war, right?
Right.
So it doesn't like affect them.
Yeah.
And they, of course, they live their wealthy life.
Yeah,
You
as they
see?
should.
And they
as
have
they
their
can.
like open-minded mindset about everything, about cultures, about like people. This can be a difference, you see. So maybe
Right.
somehow our community not very open-minded, but we also can understand them because like, look, we've been in war for like since 2014,
Right.
It-
Almost 10 years.
yeah, it affects people a lot, and of course we are thinking about our like survival, the survival of our nation, not like about mindset and
Yeah.
everything. So it's important to understand. Can I ask you a question? as
Sure.
well? Yeah?
For sure. Yeah.
I wanted to ask you about that. How are you feeling being in Ukraine? I mean, you're an American, right? And
Yeah.
you came to Ukraine, and how are you feeling here? How comfortable you are, with
Right.
this community?
Yeah, so it's a cool question, and this is like one of the first times I get to answer it in English because I get asked this, but it's in Ukrainian, and so
Well, it's good that you're gonna have an answer.
yeah, I can actually express myself. What you mentioned about like your family in Mykolaiv and like this feeling of home, because I moved to Ukraine in 2019, so and then during COVID I was there the entire year. So I was there before war, like a couple years before war, and I had already built a life there and felt really like it's my home and that's where I'm settling down. I'm also like you though, every winter I'm abroad, and when war started I was in Cancun, Mexico.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Hot.
I was there with my music manager. He's from Lutsk, so we always travel. Crazy story with that. He wound up in America as a refugee, living with my parents in Las Vegas, and I spent time in Lutsk with his mother. But so we were both abroad. But like 2 weeks after war started, I came back, which is also like kind of crazy. I had a lot of my things. I had an apartment, and so I had this like belonging to come back, and I came back to Lviv where I was living. Yeah, maybe is it scary? Yeah, it could be. I mean, I've had some instances that I guess could give you anxiety, but it's like I'd much rather be there than be like displaced. A lot of my expat friends, when war started, they left, and they still haven't returned, and by now, it's been a year and a half. Like they've now built lives elsewhere around Europe, which is actually great. For me, I didn't really build anything else. I just went back to Ukraine and kept going there. Okay, I'm just gonna stick it out, but be very cautious. When were you in Kyiv? Like, did you study there?
No, actually, when I graduated the university, right after that, I went to Kiev.
Okay, so it was like after university. So you're in your 20s?
Yeah. I was like 20s, I guess. So it wasn't like really intentionally. So I wasn't really conscious about that, you know. But I was like, why not? Well, that time I've been participating in so many different events in university. I thought about to become a TV host.
Yeah? I could
Right.
totally see you doing that.
Oh, well, I'm doing YouTube now, and I actually feel quite comfortable with this.
Yeah.
I guess it's another version of TV host, more like updated.
Yeah,
one.
for sure. You
But-
create your own.
But still, I would like to try, you know?
Yeah, options open.
Yeah, I hope so. And I went to Kiev and stayed there for a couple of years. I worked in a different place. I worked as a creative editor, I guess, for one Ukrainian media holding.
Okay.
So I was like creating briefs for, like, I was creating advertisements for companies, different companies, and I've got really nice experience of like living in Kiev, but I felt really very limited, like
Okay.
in there. It was really huge city, and I was brought in like really small town, you know, Mykolaiv, and I, well, let's say, and I also had traveled to the U.S. before.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, so you had an idea of like what else is out there. kind
Yes,
of.
so I knew other scenarios
Yeah.
of communication, community, relationships, and everything. So, and I kind of compare those communities, you know, like American community, and being in Kiev, for example, it was a bit different than what I really imagined. I don't say it's bad, no, it's good, but it's just not, I realized it's just not for me. I was like, I have to search for another place, I guess, because I love Ukraine, and I love traveling as well.
Right.
So-
Seems so.
I'm really like into traveling a lot, and then I just decided to go to Lviv just to try it one more time, because when I was 14 I've traveled with my dad. That was my first and only trip with my dad, I guess. But it was a nice trip, and I decided when I was like 14, I guess I decided I think I should move to Lviv.
Wow.
You know, it's really nice place. And for me, from person from Mykolaiv, it was something huge. It was like huge decision. Like, you should what? You should drop everything and just go to Lviv? Like, how is that?
Yeah.
Like, how does it
It's
look?
far too from like geographically.
I would say like 18 hours
Wow.
by train
That's crazy.
and almost a day by car. So I went to Lviv, and I just said like, I'm gonna give myself a little bit of time, stay there, and to see if I feel comfortable, if I can find myself here. And the first days were a bit not what I expected, but then it just went really great, because I started to dance. I started to visit
Oh, cool.
dance studio.
Yeah.
I love dancing. It's my passion after
Nice.
English. What else? Yeah, and I've got some friends there because of that dance community. I actually always struggling with finding, you know, my kind of tribe. If I can say so.
Yeah, yeah.
Sounds loud. And in Lviv, I had this chance.
That's
so
cool.
I went to that dance studio, started to dance, and then I just got to make some friends, you know, connections. I felt really comfortable, and then I understood that the place, actually, it doesn't matter. People, what really
Absolutely.
matters.
Yeah. So going back to that, and like the way that we bridge with people is again communication, which I love that you and I like share that in common, and we share this thing with Kiev and Lviv. So for me, like living in Kiev, I lived there for 3 years, and I was always learning Ukrainian, and this was all before war, so it was like kind of not the most popular thing, and so I had a hard time actually making a lot of friends there and connecting with a lot of people, and so moving to Lviv really helped. What language were you speaking in Kiev, and what language were you speaking when you moved to Lviv?
I used to speak Russian for my whole life, I guess. But then, like a couple of years ago, when it started actually earlier. So when I was in Kiev, I met some people, and I've met my soulmate. So my soulmate speaks Ukrainian.
Oh.
But that was a thing, you know. Interesting thing about language that even though my soulmate speaks Ukrainian, he kind of had to speak Russian, speaking of business.
Oh, really? Yeah.
So if you're like working, if you have business, so everybody just counted like Russian is just a language of business. So if you speak Russian, it's like you are, I don't know, very serious. You're not from the village.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I
So-
always hear. Like my friends from village or even Mistechko, like small towns, when they move to the capital, it's like abandon Ukrainian or Surzhyk. Well, Surzhyk, okay, maybe, but go to Russian to show that you are like more cosmopolitan, kind of like worldly or more experienced. So where is your soulmate from, by the way?
From the west part of Ukraine.
Okay.
So I was excited. I was excited to meet people from the west part of Ukraine because, as I said, living in Mykolaiv, for me, the whole Ukraine was a big, a big box.
Yeah.
A big box of different, cities, cultures. I didn't know what people like from the west part.
Yeah,
of
it's like a
Ukraine,
whole
you know?
nother. Did it have a reputation? Was it like, how was it from, because it's geographically far from you, like growing up, does it have this mystery that you are really curious about? And were like a negative stereotype, positive, or just different?
No, it was just like positive. I don't know. I didn't have those stereotypes, to be honest, really. I just knew that there are people everywhere, like all over Ukraine. So when I went to Kiev and I've met people from different parts of Ukraine, I understood how multicultural Ukraine is.
Yeah.
You know, Kiev is like melting pot, is like New York.
Right.
But melting pot, when I say that, I mean from different cities, from Mykolaiv, from Odessa, from Lviv, from Lutsk, and I was just excited to meet people from different cities. That's it, because mostly like Mykolaiv is, we don't have so many people from like, I don't know, from like Lviv.
Moving
or
there,
like
right.
Vinnytsia, you know. I didn't know such people, but in Kiev you can meet those people, and
Yeah.
it's interesting every time to get to know just people from Lutsk, people from Lviv, and yeah.
So you guys, when you met your soulmate, did
Yeah.
you guys were speaking in Russian together for the beginning of the?
Yeah.
Or did it rub off on you like Ukrainian?
We spoke Russian because I spoke Russian, and he also spoke Russian because of the work.
Yeah.
So, as I mentioned before, I guess, yeah, I mentioned that before. So, and then we just like, I said, no, I don't remember how it started. We just decided like, hey, let's speak Ukrainian.
Yeah. Still in Kiev, or were you guys in Lviv at the
No,
time?
in Kiev. Yeah,
That's
we were
cool.
in Kiev. Like, hey,
Was
hey,
that
just
uncomfortable to start speaking Ukrainian in
yes,
Kiev?
I felt so dumb.
That's what my friends say that
felt
tried
so
that can.
dumb.
Yeah.
I thought that I can talk only, I thought that about serious things, I only can talk in Russian, you know, and in Ukrainian, I can just say some, I don't know, basic things, you know, but if I'm talking about work, so I have to speak in Russian.
Right.
For me, it was very, very difficult to switch. And when I spoke Russian, I spoke like, faster
Yeah.
than in Ukrainian. So yeah, it was hard. But then it was just okay, you know. You just get into used to it, and then you just accept it as like that's something that should be, you know. This is your native language.
Yeah.
This is the language of your history, of your country. This is your own language. You just have to understand that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because like people, I guess, used to think about like Russian is their own language, but actually Ukrainian is your native
Right.
language, original one. And then I moved to Lviv, so I wasn't struggling with Ukrainian, so because I spoke, you know, before. And then in Lviv, I saw that people mostly speak Ukrainian. So that's why I felt comfortable. I don't have to switch, you know, from Ukrainian to Russian.
Right.
And that it just became my only one language. So
Yeah.
I don't switch from Ukrainian to Russian when person speaks to me in Russian.
What about with your family? Do you have to switch?
Nope. Because we had the same situation. They used to speak Russian as well, but then when I decided to switch to Ukrainian, they still spoke Russian. But then I guess the war kind of affected them as well. So even if they spoke, for example, my mom, she speaks Ukrainian at work because she's a lawyer. Yeah, she speaks Ukrainian because of her work. And like a couple of years, like a year and a half ago, she started to speak Ukrainian even on a daily basis, you know, like with my father, my grandma.
Okay, so yeah, for you,
Yeah.
I mean, whenever I would have no idea you were from Mykolaiv, like watching your videos and everything, like I hear like really clean Ukrainian. I mean, as a foreigner, maybe I don't know it as well, but like I was always like very impressed with your Ukrainian. So
Thank you.
yeah,
It's
I actually didn't know like where you were from.
always wondering. I mean, I receive comments from people under the video like, hey, where are you from? You have nice accent. Maybe you're like from the west part of Ukraine, you know? You have this beautiful accent. And I say, I'm from Mykolaiv. And people just say like, oh, it's nice accent for a girl from Mykolaiv, you know? And
Yeah,
I'm just
wow.
wondering, why so? Like, it's our language.
Translation of this podcast name is like a drop of inspiration, and I think you've used language to really inspire a lot of people, like foreigners, me included. I was watching your videos before
Really?
we
Oh
met,
my God.
right? Yeah,
Thank
that's
you.
funny. How are you so gifted? I would say you are like extremely talented, because even your English is without a heavy accent of. And I teach English since COVID, so a lot with accent reduction and just what is difficult. And when I speak with you, it's just like speaking with like a friend from America. Like, it's crazy.
Wow, that's a high mark for me.
It
you know?
is
Like
really
12
high.
points.
I started thinking like, should I say that? I set the bar, but I mean, I have confidence because you are speaking really well. So this is inspirational. And like, where did it come from? From childhood or?
Well, first of all, I just want to point it out that I think that our Ukrainian accent is so sexy. I mean, we should
Yeah.
keep it.
For sure. I
Be-
agree.
Because, like, it's something that, for example, I do like French accent. When they say, like, hello, no, wait, say, hello, un croissant, something like, how are you?
Yeah.
So I love French accent, and I guess this is their, like, how to say it, not characteristic, not like
It's a
oblivious.
specialty.
Quirk, specialty.
Oh, yeah. It's like what they're known for.
I don't think they don't. Yeah, maybe. Actually, why not? So, yeah, I do love their accent, and I think this is something that represents that you are Ukrainian. You see, people don't change your accent.
No,
I mean, you
embrace
can.
it.
Yeah, you can work on it. Like, just do not sound like, "Hello, how are you doing, man? What is going on there?" You see, so just make it a bit softer, but still don't get rid of it completely.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I still have an accent, and I have it. I know it, but I love it.
Mm-hmm.
And speaking of language, well, the thing is, I've learned English on my own.
Wow.
So no, don't look
That's
at
crazy. That's really crazy, though.
me. But
Is it like watching a lot of Friends episodes or something? Or
no,
like...
that's just old-fashioned. I learned English on my own, but I just wanted to again point it out. I'm not gifted. I'm not like a smart brain or something. It took me like 10 years to become like to
So you're, like,
just sit
persistent.
here and have a podcast with you in
That's
English. you
crazy.
see?
Yeah.
And yeah, I just had a goal. So for me, English wasn't like it wasn't a goal. No, how to say it? No,
It wasn't
you see,
a goal. Yeah,
it wasn't a goal. It wasn't a goal. So it wasn't a goal. It was just a tool how I can achieve my goals.
So you had other goals, and then
Yeah.
it was like just part of the way to achieving it.
Exactly. So my dream was just to go to the US, and I understood that I need to have this interview with the consul, I guess, and then I have to. Well, I'd like to make some American friends, you know, and just to communicate, you know, not like just go there and just be afraid of people,
Yeah.
like just how to say, go to the pigeonhole.
Yeah, pigeonhole yourself.
Pigeonhole
right?
yourself. Okay, so I guess we have to
That's
teach
a good
people
one.
this.
Yeah. I'll put it in
Put
there.
it like
Yeah.
pigeonhole. That means
Yeah.
I realized that I have this goal to go to the US, and then what I did, I just learned those first 3 basic tenses, which is past, present, and simple. Oh, past, present, and future. So I guess that's enough. You know, like that's enough for just regular
sure.
conversation. And then I just started to practice. I was sick of it, but still, I just practiced. And then I started when I watched movies. So my next step was like watching movies. I watched Housewives, Desperate Housewives. I watched like the Big Bang Theory.
Big Bang Theory, yeah.
Theory.
It's good because that's actually helps you with understanding comedy and culture as well. I learned like so then you pick up on a lot more than just like language, I think, right?
You that's very important you said, because you really understand this like cultural difference, because you won't be scared when you go to the US and people, just random person would say, hey, how are you doing, girl, for example, and you like just be scared, maybe he's a scammer or something, you know, murderer, or I don't know, and you just getting used to this. And I would say that really by learning language I was trying to embracing this like culture. So in order to understand people there, you see, knowing what to talk to them about, you know, at least like, hey, I watched at least Desperate Housewives. I don't know a lot about America, but at least I watched Housewives, and we can talk about it, you know. And that's actually how I did. Then I went to the US. It was amazing time, but horrible speaking of my English. And I chose that profession. I was like assistant in a beach store.
Oh wow!
You remember those? I guess you know what I'm talking about. Those beach stores.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. Wait, where were you? You were in Florida? Where were you?
I was in Pismo Beach. It was California.
Oh wow, nice.
Yeah,
Say
California. Nice. I was there, and I worked as an assistant. And I was scared of people. I really tried to hide because I thought that the only thing I need is just to say, hey, there is a short, this is size small, medium, large, and it's like $20.
Yeah.
That's it.
No, our stores are different, right? Like they expect you to like be really interacting with the customers.
Yes. and like
and customers interact with you, I'm sure, asking you a lot of things.
Right. And they like to talk, right? Yeah. You guys like to talk.
Yeah,
like,
small talk, right?
Small talks. And you're like, oh my God, what should I say? But they usually ask me like where I'm from. And then I made some friends. Okay. They helped me with English a little bit.
How old were you at
I
this
was time? Like, it was my second course, so I was like 19.
Wow, that's a good time to go.
Yeah, I guess so. It was scary, but I really wanted to kind of open up my mindset, you know, expand the horizons a little bit. And that was nice. And then it was second time in the US, so I came with some experience, you know, and my English really kind of brushed up a little bit. So then it was South Carolina, and people there they speak very fast, right?
They speak fast in South Carolina? I just know they have an accent, like a nice southern accent. But yeah, that would be difficult to understand.
That was like difficult, and I worked also in the restaurant sphere, so I was like a server.
Yeah.
And when it's like rush time, you know, busy hours, you have to like they just shout at you like, hey, pick up those plates, like, hey, bring that to that one, to that person, and you just like doing it, and you're getting to like English very just fast, like you kind of have to, and that's it helped me.
That really helped you. Okay, so. You have this well-rounded, big toolbox full of language skills at this point, or you're still developing it. You seem like a natural, because again, I've discovered you through YouTube, which I checked today, and you I think you're already like same amount of subscribers as me. Like you're growing very quickly, actually, which is cool. But it's because you offer like really useful videos. You seem to have I think with YouTube, success comes a lot with the person. I mean, there's a lot of tricks with editing and all the things, but like if you have the right personality, then people are drawn to that, and I feel like that's a big trick in how you're growing so quickly.
Thank you.
And have you always had that personality, or you mentioned you would like to be a TV host? I think you do have the right kind of personality for that. So is this like from childhood you were always so outgoing, or I really put in my notes to ask you, is it something that you do this is our first time meeting in person, so I don't know if it's like some people are way different behind like when they're not on YouTube or social media than they are in person.
They can be grumpy a little bit, or just extra positive or something. Yeah.
So are you the same person on YouTube as you are off? How do you have such an outgoing personality, or it seems that way?
I guess natural. I mean, I'm just only one person. I mean, I guess it's just natural. The same person on YouTube, the same person here. I would say maybe a little bit just best version of myself speaking of YouTube, because I record videos when I really have this inspiration.
Yeah.
And when I have this, for example, now I'm getting this inspiration from you, and I'm just starting to feel more comfortable, like comparing to the beginning of
Right.
the
It warms
podcast.
up a little.
Yeah, so I'm just feeling very, very comfortable, and when I'm feeling comfortable, I just like, I don't know.
You can create the best content.
Yeah,
and
express
stuff.
myself like
Yeah.
completely.
When did you start your channels?
Well, I started it like, oh my gosh, 4 or 5 years ago. Wait, in 2019, I guess. So
Okay, yeah,
I'm
4
so
years
bad
ago.
in math.
Oh, it's like 4
sorry,
years.
Dad.
I know, because that's when I moved to Ukraine.
Yeah.
And yeah, I wonder when it was that I first saw your videos, but it was certainly before war even. And then now I see that it's taking off, and hopefully after this it'll even go more, because I think a lot of people should watch your channel, not only Ukrainians. It's really relevant, and so yeah.
I'm actually very grateful for this podcast with you, because I always wanted to have, like, I just thought to myself, if I ever gonna have like podcast or something like that, I would like to do it in English.
That's
with
cool.
really like a person who speaks English, because I would feel like really, really, really comfortable. And I guess this like podcast in English, it's just a great opportunity also for Ukrainians, to like watch your videos and understand, like, wow, American who learns Ukrainian, and speaks Ukrainian, learns the culture, embracing the culture, and wow, there is a Ukrainian who learns English, also
Yeah.
embracing American culture, and it's like really great match. It's something that really people should observe.
Right.
It's really healthy and good content.
Actually, yeah, I can't think of other content creators that I know who have bridged this like we are right now. We're making history right now.
Yeah, I hope so. Really, we have
No, but it's serious.
great
Like,
match.
that's really crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
We filmed something for your channel not long ago, and then I was so serious. Like, I'll go wherever you are to film a podcast, and I'm glad that we're doing this. So now let's talk about your channel, the DYU Community Club. Like,
Yeah.
where did this idea stem from? I know already a little bit, but so the viewers can know a little more. And like, where do you want to take this? And is it like, because it's so unique, I think, like this building a community.
Yes.
it's special. So will you speak a little bit about it?
I have now different channels, and my main channel, I guess it's like Margali. So where I just talk about about English and about communication in general, about relationships, about people, community, and we also pop up some like social questions as well. So the recent videos was like cancel culture in Ukraine,
Right.
government concept, the concept of government.
Wow, you guys are
Yeah.
discussing that?
Yeah, I've discussed. I had this just a pinch of inspiration, and I'm
That's
like,
cool.
I have to
There's
write
like
about
cool
it.
topics too. It's not
Yeah.
like something that you can find typically. And these are in Ukrainian, these videos?
Yes, those are in Ukrainian. Interesting fact. So when I started this YouTube hobby thing, I started it in Russian, and I couldn't have any success. Like,
Wow.
nothing. Like, people were just, subscribed, unsubscribed, and it was just very, very slow. And things really changed when I started to speak in Ukrainian.
Wow, that's cool. That's a big
It's-
sign.
It's a big sign, and it's just understanding who you are. You see, when people support you, when you speak Ukrainian, people support you, right? Oh my gosh, that's a great topic to discuss. You have nice, Ukrainian language. You just feel this support and inspiration just to keep going and really kind of spreading this language, spreading this. Oh my gosh, the specialty you said, right? The
Spreading this.
authenticity of
Yeah, I
the
was about to say
language.
that, the authenticity.
Yes, authenticity of the language. I want the young generation really to understand that Ukrainian language is, oh my gosh, it's just, it's who you are. You see, it's who you are, and sometimes people really just stuck and they think, oh my gosh, who am I? Where am I? What I'm doing and everything. But really starts with who you are. And for me, first it's like I'm Ukrainian, and I speak Ukrainian, and that's
Right.
it.
And language, as we agree, I think you
Yeah.
can't really remove that from identity and culture. Like, a lot of people try
Right.
to or ignore it, but it's just part of what makes a culture a culture. Back to authenticity, I think that's also why your channel is unique, because you're truly passionate. Like, you're saying what you believe. Last week I was in Kyiv at a party and I met a guy with like 250,000 subscribers, and we were talking about YouTube, and I was like, I have like 4,000 I think or something, and he's like, yeah, I have 250,000, and it was like, wow, it's really cool. And then he was open that his channel was like in Russian, and he's had it for years. And then he told me like, yeah, but since war I changed, and I actually looked at his channel and he still does it in Russian, so he just lied to me. But I could see why, because here I am, a foreigner with a Ukrainian channel, and but you know, it's, even if he did change, like, I don't fault him for not changing like his content. Like, I think he should, but he wouldn't be authentic anymore, because I guess he's already developed it. This is what he's more comfortable with. So now he would feel like fake having to switch his content into Ukrainian. So I think it's like cool that you had done this already and have like, and you have this passion behind it, because there's no hiding that, right?
Definitely, I absolutely agree with you. And speaking of that, when I started to do channel in Ukrainian, I really grew my audience to like, I have like 3,000 now, which I'm really appreciate, because it's like, oh my God, 3,000 people really, they're here to watch me, to listen to me, like, what? So I'm really very grateful for it.
Where's the future of it? Do you have an idea of where you want to go with the channel, or is it, as it's growing, you just kind of let it take you?
So channel is just a great thing, you know, to talk to people and tell them who you are and what are you doing. And I'm doing now community, which is actually, I guess, a bit new for Ukrainians. We don't have this culture of clubs, you know.
Right, yeah.
And I guess it's different in the US, right?
I think US has a lot of different clubs, and you can kind of figure out what's for you.
And can you just like say a couple of words about why people in the US, they're trying to, you know, bond with each other and create this like clubs and little communities around interests, right?
Yeah, it's based around interests, and I think it's because we as a country have people from all over. So like growing up, I'm Filipino background, but I grew up in Texas, so there's like one other Filipino family in the city I'm from. So I couldn't just find the other person of the same background as me. Then I would have a very limited friend group. So it's like, okay, what am I involved in? What do I like? And so clubs are even extracurricular activities, what you do outside of school. It was just from childhood very important to us. And then now with online life, like people form clubs, and there's like Twitch and different groups, and everyone just finds that you can bond over this. And it doesn't have to be just based on like where your family's from, for example, because I think that has a lot to do in a primitive state, like who am I going to hang out with? Like here in Poland, you can always just like stay, I guess, amongst Ukrainians, because that feels natural and really comfortable. But, you know, again, with language as a tool, you can broaden to whatever other interests that you have, and it doesn't have to be based on just where you're from or what language you speak. And so I think America's done a cool job about that, and I think that we've formed that culture, and I don't know about it in Ukraine so much, so I guess you would know more.
I don't think that I know really more about that, because usually we just, I don't know, have, you know, like activities, extra activities, like, I don't know, sport activities, you know, people going on, I don't know, what they're doing football, I don't know, playing football, they're playing basketball, they're just going to, I don't know, dance classes, you see. So, but it's like just extra activities. It's like how we just do our hobbies, you know. But this is not about communication.
Right.
And that's why, well, everything started with that I haven't had people who I'd like to, not like who I'd like to, I haven't had actually like-minded people around me. So, and it was really hard to find like-minded people in my city. Then I went abroad and thought maybe I'm gonna find like-minded people there, which was also kind of questionable, because I found people who kind of have the same interests as me, you see, but it's more like became like friends, you know, just like friends, and you can have like one or two friends who support your interest. But I couldn't even imagine that you can have this community of like 5, 10, 20, 50 people who actually just support those interests, and they're really passionate about, and they'd like to share their own experience, and they'd like to learn your own experience as well. So the first thing, my experience when I seen this community, it was expat.
Oh yeah.
I was in France and I couldn't speak any French. I spoke just English, and for me it was like two options: or I just learn French,
Right.
or I just try to find a like English-speaking community.
Yeah.
Well, first one is very difficult, right?
It takes longer.
It
Right.
takes longer. And then I was like, okay, I should find English-speaking community. And then I found on Facebook, I found expat group in France,
Yeah.
in the city, and in France, in the city, what I'm saying. In La Rochelle, it was city.
Oh, okay.
And I found their expat group, and I was wondering, what is that? I thought maybe it's just like, I don't know, secta? What is that?
A sector?
No,
Oh, sect?
sect, like a church, you know,
Yeah.
like sect, right?
Yeah.
I thought that it's like sect or something, and but I just wrote the guys, the main person who organized that expat group, and I said, hey guys, what are you doing? Like, maybe I'd like to join. You know, what do you have? And he said, like, we have so many people from different parts of the world, and we are just gathering sometimes to talk about something we want, you know, sharing our own story and everything. And I was like, sounds good. Do you do it in English? They're like, yes. I'm like, I'm in.
That's cool.
That's cool. And I just went there. It was my like first time when I really saw different people from different cultures. They speak different languages, but they are united. Not only like around English, because they all speak English somehow.
Right. That
but
was just like the common thing, right?
yeah, that was a tool,
Yeah.
right? So as I mentioned, a tool. But they were talking about, they were separated in different groups, like, you know, and they were talking, one group was talking about, oh my gosh, we were talking about sponges. Sponges in the ocean, yes. One guy, he used to work as I can't remember. He was like, I don't know, discovering the diving. I don't know. No, he was like discovering the researching those sponges, like understanding how they function or something. And it was like 5 people around him. We were just listening to his story, and we were just really amazed. It was something different, you know. I never spoke about sponges. So. And then another group was talking about traveling in general. So
Yeah,
like
that's
tips
a
and
common
tricks.
one, right.
Yeah. Another one was talking about French, how to learn French and everything. So, and they were just changing, you know, like
Yeah.
one person go to another group, another person go to that group. And I was like, oh my God, is that just really happening? And I tried all of those groups. And I really realized that, oh my gosh, communication is everything. I
Yeah.
felt myself much better. Like I had felt myself like more isolated before that
Right.
expat group. But after that, I felt like, oh my, I can actually live here, you know, for some
Yeah.
time. I can just find my own place. And that was the beginning of that Do You Understand Club, which I created.
DYU's Do You Understand?
Do you understand? That's the
Nice.
meaning, not like do you understand English? It means like, do you understand me?
Yeah.
Like,
Wow. So some common thing. That's
yes,
cool.
There is a story behind us.
That's a great story, actually.
Yeah,
I had
thank
no
you.
idea. I think this is really cool, actually. This has been very fun to do.
It's nice. I feel really comfortable. We don't have this culture. Like, people don't understand why they should gather around their own interests, you know? Like, we are kind of a bit isolated from each other, you know? But it is actually great to be among like-minded people, you know? Just feel like, how to say, just being yourself. You know, not trying to pretend. It's good when you have this support. You see, you might not have friends, but you have your club members who would support you, who would guide you. I don't know. And that was the beginning. I was like, wow, maybe I can do that. Maybe I can create this club where I can, you know, organize people in groups around their interests. And English is just, you know, like a tool for us to talk about those interests. Because knowing English, you can actually talk about your passions with so many of people. You're not limited.
Yeah.
You're not limited just only like, oh, I know Ukrainian, so I'm going to speak only to Ukrainians. Nope, you just know English. You can go to Poland, speak English there. You can go to France. Well, that's
Some
questionable.
countries more than others. But yeah, you're right. It opens a door, and then from there, it depends on your interests, and then you can really express yourself. So I think that importance that you're prioritizing is huge. And I think when more people realize that they'll embrace language, and even if it's just Ukrainian, switching to Ukrainian, because that'll open a door in Ukraine.
So the first started with English language, and then I was like, we should implement Ukrainian
Yeah, that's
as
cool.
well, because so many foreigners now, they're learning, like you're learning Ukrainian, right?
Right.
So many foreigners now, especially, they are interested in Ukrainian language, and I guess it's great because when foreigners gonna learn Ukrainian in fun, interesting way, you know, not like you're holding those books and just one teacher like staying at the board and like, hey, look, those are hundreds of rules you should remember.
Yeah.
No, you're just like talking, you're just trying to find what's like what touches, you know,
Yeah.
its soul, and you just find this topic and like you pop it up and you just start conversation, even if you have like basic really level. I mean, you have nice you have like B1 level, I guess.
B1, yeah.
But still, I can talk to you, I'm pretty sure I can talk to you about things that usually people talk in B2 level.
Right, maybe.
Just in a way, because I will find some words, like
Yeah, exactly.
easy words that you will understand. I will find something that you have like I would see that you are passionate to talk about it, you know?
Yeah.
Because for people, like, I'm experiencing this, I'm watching my club members, they don't fucking care about mistakes or something, grammar.
Yeah.
They just talk. They like, I like this topic, I'm gonna talk.
Yeah.
Like, whatever.
You
And-
forget about like, I don't want to have an accent or I don't want to
Yes.
make a grammar error. No, it's like I have an opinion and I want to share it,
Yes.
express yourself.
Yes, and I am so grateful and I'm so, I don't know, honored
Yeah.
when they just like my club members, they write me. I feel so comfortable when I kind of meet you guys there in the club. I feel it's like my own little family, you know, of like-minded
Yeah.
people. I feel a part of it, and whenever I feel like upset or something, so I really come and I have this energy, and I feel like I can do actually literally anything. I
That's
don't know.
nice. That's super inspirational.
It's super, especially right now when people are really, they mostly just, well, they are anxious, they are afraid of about their future. It affects their reality, like their present. And I just want to just take those people like from that and just like out and just put them in nice place where they can feel relaxed a little bit.
Yeah.
Just forget about everything and just remember that they're just people who have their own interests, hobbies, opinion, passions, and just to express it, you see.
Yeah.
It's very, very important, because I think these things actually unite people,
Absolutely.
and it just and also it makes things easier about languages, right? Like
It
you're
does,
just-
yeah. It's like two birds with one stone what you're doing.
Yeah.
Like you're helping people share their interests, express
Right.
themselves, feel comfortable. I think that's very important. And then all the while they're improving whatever language it might be in. And that's like, I think that's great.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I'm so grateful for this opportunity to talk about it, to talk about the club, because, as I mentioned before, people really they don't understand completely. You see, what's the mission of the club? Yeah, how it's different, because they saw me like sharing some tips and tricks about English. They thought
Right.
maybe it's like school or something, but I'm really, that's why I'm doing my YouTube channel as well, just to showing the personality that I'm a speaker, you know, that I'm an owner of this Do You Understand Speaking Club, that I'm, and all the speakers, so Do You Speaking Club, they're interested in people, interested in interesting people, you know, people who have their own opinion about something, and we're like here just to, you know, support you in that.
I know. I think it's cool. You'll have my support with that project in
Yes.
however way. Similar with you, like I'm passionate about doing my content in Ukrainian because it's interesting to me, and so I don't know, and it's just a fun way of expressing myself. But to do something in English with you, as someone who speaks comfortably, this is like really refreshing and less stressful for me. Like super easy, just having a conversation. You
And
know?
it's great that you can actually express your own personality, because I know how deep is your personality, right?
Yeah.
And because, like, you know, I've been watching you as well, and I've been reading some news about that. Oh, there is American who likes like those like vareniki, our food and everything. And I was like, it can't be just that, you know, like person is deeper than that. Why you just represent only that part?
Yeah.
And I am so happy that we did that video.
Yeah,
Yes, about
cool.
Americans who learn English. So I'm gonna have it on my channel. I understand that sometimes in your own language you can really express more
Yeah, absolutely.
than just in foreign language. I don't know, but for me right now, I can express myself more when I speak English.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You've just developed that, and it's became a part of your English personality as well.
Probably.
And that's I'm trying to do that as well with Ukrainian. That's why podcasting Ukrainian is important to me, because now I'm speaking on different topics. I'm developing more opinions about things, and yeah, I appreciate you being a guest here on this.
Thank you.
I think this will be a very successful podcast. I want to share this with a lot of people because I think you're more than just a drop of inspiration, but like a whole heap of
Thank you.
inspiration.
I'm trying. You as well. I mean, when you speak Ukrainian, with people who are just never spoke Ukrainian, and they're thinking about maybe I should switch from Russian to Ukrainian, and you are a great example of that. Like people from around, like from all over the world, they can learn language, they can speak language, and like it shows like how people value your own language. You see people from different countries, they value your own language, so it's actually great example, I think. And the last phrase, I guess I was not prepared for this phrase, because when I watch those, I don't know, podcasts or interviews or something, like host can ask like, what's the last thing you can recommend to people, and I'm like, oh my god, what should I say,
right?
Those the funny moments when you are like doing some things, chores, I don't know, cleaning the house, and you're like thinking that you're having this inner your podcast, and you're like answering some questions, like,
exactly.
Okay, if that person gonna ask me that, so I'm gonna answer that.
But
I wasn't prepared for that. But for like, I can say it in Ukrainian. One phrase actually that I just come up with that's actually resonates with me a lot. It's like, якщо ви не маєте друзів у власному місті, це не означає, що ви не зможете знайти їх десь в іншому місті, або, можливо, вони говорять іншою мовою. And the You Speaking Club Community – це якраз місце. Це місце, де ви можете знайти людей, познайомитися з людьми з усього світу, з усіх куточків України. І, можливо, ці люди стануть для вас так само порцією енергії, натхнення і, можливо, навіть друзями. Тому що we have in the club members that actually became friends.
I'm sure, right?
After the club. That's incredible.
Yeah, there's a place for everyone.
Yes.
Marho is creating a community as well, and I'm very grateful that you're here. Thanks for being on the podcast.
Thank you for inviting me.
I'm sure we do more in the future. So thank you all for watching.
Thank you.
As well, I'll put all her information in the description so you'll know where to find her. I'm a fan, and thank you guys for watching. So, Slava Ukraini.
Героям слава. See you guys.
Bye-bye.